Hey everybody, it's Keith with Fire and Dice, and I am back with another video, and alongside me is Josh with NPC Voices. Today's video is going to be about miniatures. Josh is our resident expert. So Josh, let's start off. What are the benefits of having miniatures at the table?
So, the thing I love about miniatures is that you don't really need them. They're not a staple in D&D. The thing about D&D is it's crippling addictions that come with it. But you could literally have dice on the table as these creatures. Like, it is all theater of the mind, all about just the imagination of it all. But having a miniature there just builds it even more. Like, even if you only do what I started off doing, where I only bought boss miniatures. Right. Like, you'd go through the dungeon, you'd fight maybe pennies, and those would be the skeletons. And then I'd pull out, like, the lich creature.
And it's that wow factor.
Exactly.
And there are tactical advantages to it. I mean, again, you could do a battle in theater of mind. You definitely can. It does make it a little more difficult with higher volumes of people. And you can use tokens, dice, whatever for the miniatures. But, using the true miniatures helps with scaling of size too, how much room they take up, stuff like that. So there's those little benefits that add to it. But also, they just look fucking cool.
Yeah.
At the table, especially when you get them painted. All right, so let's get into the good part, miniatures. Let's talk about where to buy them, what miniatures to get, what type of miniatures you're looking for, and all the things that go along with that. So the first thing is, let's say you don't have any miniatures, you want to just buy some basic miniatures that you can use at the table. Bulk, whatever the case may be. What do you suggest? Like if you're buying bulk miniatures.
Okay.
And keep in mind, most people are shopping on a bargain.
Yep. Yep. Not me, willing to spend $60 on one miniature or $90 on a Demogorgon. I recommend eBay. Of all places, eBay, Facebook Marketplace. If you're looking for a good, cheap amount of miniatures, people are trying to get rid of miniatures, whether Warhammer. Warhammer is great for those really good detailed, like massive characters or creatures or whatever. eBay is always my go-to. I'm trying to find like a succubus. I go on eBay, check it out. Etsy, I don't always go to Etsy first because Etsy's usually more expensive.
Etsy's definitely pricier. You can find some cool stuff on there, but it's pricier. But if you're looking for best bang for the buck, Reaper is good because they have a lot of miniatures. Like you can get like 6 skeletons for a couple dollars.
Oh yeah.
Or you can get an orc pack, a goblin pack. So you can really bulk up with those with a cheap price. And they have a lot of variety.
Yeah, and the thing that actually Keith and I talk about all the time are the different deals that Reaper have going on.
Yeah.
Like when you go online to order, certain orders like over $40 not only get like free shipping within the US, but you also get a free like day of the month miniature or a monthly miniature that comes with it. Yeah. And it's super
I actually got the Afridi right up here, if you can see her. That was a free miniature just for ordering. I think it was only $35. Usually it's $35, I think, is free shipping, and now they do that miniature of the month. And they're pretty cool miniatures. They're not just all small miniatures. It's the larger scale miniatures like that. So Reaper is great for that. The other place for bulk miniatures, Miniature Market. You can really load up with a lot there as well. And they have a very good selection. You've been on there, right?
Yeah, Miniature Market is where I go to kind of scope the land of the next coming out pre-order miniatures. Miniature Market is great, especially if you live within the US. They're amazing. Like the shipping prices aren't horrible, and the amount of variety you can get from them, anything all the way from like your sci-fi Cthulhu Ariel kind of stuff, all the way to your Dungeons and Dragons delving sets.
Yeah, the variety on Miniature Market is sometimes almost overwhelming because I've gone on there and they have just thousands, literally thousands and thousands of different miniatures in so many different genres, and you can mix and match. I mean, obviously we've found them from different genres, like Cthulhu or like Pathfinder, which is obviously very similar to D&D. But they fit in with Dungeons and Dragons so well because especially if you homebrew, you can turn any creature into a homebrew creature in Dungeons and Dragons, or any miniature, really.
And that's the other point that I love to touch on is with the miniature, sometimes you'll see a miniature online, you're like, I don't need that miniature, but this would make an amazing homebrew creature. That you're like, oh, this looks like it could be an, what's a normal creature?
An orc.
An orc, thank you. Like, I was thinking like Ankeg or like Balo or like just these random offsets. But, yeah, you can take an orc and one that has like an arm sprouting from a different area, or if it's carrying a different type of weapon that has flames coming off, and you're like, that would make such a cool boss creature to have like this orc tribe leader.
Well, yeah, because like you said, we've seen other miniatures in other genres where you have it's their basic orc, but it's not like a Dungeons & Dragons orc. It's heavily armored. It's carrying different weaponry that an orc would have. It's way more advanced and all that stuff. So it'd be a great homebrewed kind of creation of an orc, some type of orc leader or something, chieftain, with a higher stat block. And that's a perfect segue into now. Okay, so that's bulk, it's miniature market, Reaper, stuff like that. But if you're looking for certain specific miniatures, let's say you have a good collection, but you want to buy those certain miniatures, what's the best place for that?
That's when I would recommend you to Etsy. Etsy, or just buy a 3D printer. At this point, I really should have just bought a 3D printer. But Etsy is the place where if you want those very specific, very like weird off-the-wall miniatures, not only can you go there to buy the miniature if they do have it, but many of the different like companies and stores there will work with you about creating a miniature.
So individual miniatures, Etsy is a great place. But again, like you were saying, eBay. You can find a lot of rare ones there. I mean, it might be harder and you have to wait for the right time, obviously, but you can find them there as well. Also, another great thing about pretty much all of these places we're talking about, whether it's Etsy, eBay, Miniature Market, Reaper, they all have painted or pre-painted, and that's where we differ big time. I, as you can probably see, I only buy unpainted. I don't think I've ever bought a pre-painted miniature. I like to paint them myself because I just enjoy painting, but two, I like to give them my idea of what they would look like. Josh?
I'm very much about pre-painted because with the amount of miniatures I buy, pre-painted makes my life a lot easier and a lot less sad when I look at my unpainted hordes and I'm like, I'm never going to paint any of this, so I just hope I someday have a significant other that will.
And let's face it, I don't think anybody who collects miniatures and has a large volume ever actually really paints them all. I mean, they had that thing on Instagram that I forget who started it, maybe Matt with the Pickle Dragon. Show the picture of your unpainted horde, or it could have been Jim from Epic Jim. I forget. No, he didn't start it, I don't think. Maybe he did. I don't know. But somebody started that. But I mean, that's a running joke, and it is. And I can see why people buy the painted miniatures. I just prefer the unpainted because I love to paint them. But that's the great thing about all of those sites is that you can get them either way. Like Reaper especially, I've never bought a pre-painted. I don't buy them. But Reaper has a lot of pre-painted, right? I think that all of them, they offer pre-painted.
Do they?
They always seem when I click on them, they have pre-painted, or you can't buy them pre-painted. Huh. They have the picture of them painted. I've just never looked to purchase them. I don't know if they're just for viewing to see what they could look like. That's interesting.
Yeah, I think
we may have to check that out after this video.
Fact check.
Interesting. But Etsy, there are people who just make them. They 3D print them and sell them. But there are people on Etsy that make them, paint them, and sell them. And obviously, it's going to be a little pricier, or a little more expensive if you get them pre-painted. But if you're someone who either one doesn't like to paint, or two likes to paint but can't make them look good, you can always choose Etsy. And another one, a more obscure one who does both, who sells painted and unpainted, stop that, is
Thrill Studios.
Exactly, you read my mind. Awesome. Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking of.
Cool.
Let's talk about them because they have some just amazing miniatures, right?
Yeah.
Now, what do? Do they actually 3D print them, or do they buy them from obscure game sets and actually resell them as painted and as painted and as unpainted?
I think they're like a wholesale place.
Yeah.
So they like pull in all the different you remember Kingdom Death and those miniatures that you love and see that I kind of hate, but we'll touch on that another time. But Kingdom Death miniatures, or another, like all these different sets where you're like, wow, I really like those miniatures, but I don't want to play that game.
Right.
They pick them up. They buy those miniatures from all these different sets of people who don't want them anymore, or even from the companies, and they have them all there for you to buy either in groups or singularly.
And they have just amazing miniatures that will work well. You can find, and we were just talking about this, you can go on there, and if you have a boss creature in a homebrew, you definitely can find them on there. I mean, I bought a couple of these. I'll just grab one. This one that I painted, I'll show two examples.
That's my favorite.
And the one that Josh likes. This is a painted one that I did. I love these builds. And this one is one of Josh's favorites. This is unpainted, but as you can see, the level of detail on these. And I don't even know what game they came out of, but it's nothing we've ever heard of, so I don't even know where to find them. But Thrill Studio has them, so if you haven't checked them out, they're on Instagram and they have a website. I don't remember what it is. I'll probably just put it down in the comments below.
Thrill Studios, I think, .shopify.com.
Oh, okay. So there you go. And they do paint them, and they have excellent painters there too as well. If you look at some of their pre-painted ones that are for sale, they're gorgeous. Obviously, again, they're going to be pricier, but they are beautiful. Yes, they are.
Before this video, I've spent about an hour or two trying to decide whether to buy this one miniature, because all of their miniatures are gorgeous.
Yeah, you keep going through and like, oh, I like that one. Oh, wait, look at this one. We're like that all day. It's just really amazing. Check them out if you haven't done so already. But so individual PCs. Now, I know you don't look to buy those.
Nope.
I only have a few, but I think everybody knows the most popular one there, and that is Hero Forge.
Mm-hmm.
They're great. They've expanded. Now they sell them pre-painted as well. Hero Forge is going to be a little more expensive. You can get the file for $10. I believe
think it's still 10.
And then you can print it off yourself. You can get the regular plastic for 20.
Mm-hmm.
The
premium plastic
for 30, and it looks a little different. It definitely does look better. My brother got one, and it does look better than the regular plastic. But the regular plastic, I have a couple of those, and they look great. And once you paint them, they look good. And then you can go much higher because they have like a bronze one, and they go up to $100 for a single individual. But they do have a great selection of building a PC. They really do. I mean, you've gone on there and played around with it too. And they've added a lot recently. Yeah, Josh is speechless about Hero Forge. But Hero Forge is great. So if you're looking for a PC, Hero Forge is the best. But is there anybody else that competes with them?
No.
Wasn't there one at Gen Con that we saw?
There's one that's kind of,
but
still...
I don't remember it.
Because
I wish I could remember.
It's just one of those things where they corner the market, and they've grown so much because of it.
I'd love to see a competitor come up to but it's just not happening. And Hero Forge seems to be progressing. I mean, they've cornered it, but it's not like they stay stale.
Yeah, exactly.
They keep on adding new options. Now the adjustable arms and stuff like that, so you can put them in a lot more positions and stuff like that. It's crazy what they're doing. And now, of course, they offer the pre-painted as well. So I forget how much it is to do that, but that was just through their Kickstarter, right?
Yeah.
Which I think is done.
Their Kickstarter ended a while ago.
Yeah, and obviously they're hit their goals pretty easily. So have we missed anything? I mean, that's pretty much everything. Bulk, individuals, pre-painted, unpainted. I mean, that sums it. That pretty much covers everything. So really, if you're looking for bulk, it's going to be Miniature Market or eBay. You could. That's harder to find. Well, I mean, it's harder to find on eBay a whole collection of something that you're looking for. You can find them in bulk, but that's going to be a little harder. And then Reaper, I mean, with their deals, with their free shipping over orders, if you're ordering bulk, if you're looking for like $50, $60 worth of miniatures, you can get free miniatures thrown in, you can get free shipping. So I think those are some of the better places. And if you're looking for specific individual minis, I mean, you can still find them on Miniature Market and Reaper. It's just you might pay a higher shipping cost because you're only looking for one individual. But then you were saying eBay is great, Etsy is great as well for that kind of stuff. Thrill Studios as well has tons of great individuals. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for the video, right? Did you have anything to add? Any other comments about them?
No, just I am a miniature addict.
He is.
And I'm okay with that.
I am not. I'm kind of all between the campaign, all the books, miniatures, and dice and terrain. It's just a little collection of all of it. So, but yeah, he is a miniature freak, and of course Lily is our resident dice freak. So we cover them all. But anyways, so that's it for the video. If you have any questions, definitely feel free to drop a comment down there and we'll reply to it. This was something that was brought up on the Instagram story that I posted on questions that people have in the community, and we're going to start doing a lot more of these videos, hopefully. So really appreciate you watching. Josh, thanks for sitting in and talking about miniatures. I know it's something that you could talk on and on and on about. Inside joke.
Yeah, I could go on for a while.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you for helping out, and everyone, again, thanks for watching. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at fire.and.dice, and also Josh on Instagram, Twitter, and
TikTok.
Yeah. At NPC Voices. All right, so thank you, everybody. That's it, and stay tuned for the next video. See you later.
See you guys.